Our story begins with Emma, a marine biologist with a passion for exploring the unknown. Emma had dedicated her career to studying marine life, and the legend of the wicked siren of Betty's Bay had always intrigued her. Determined to uncover the truth, she set off on a journey to the picturesque coastal town of Betty's Bay. From the moment she arrived, Emma was enchanted by the beauty of Betty's Bay. The crystal-clear waters, the rugged coastline, and the vibrant marine life all beckoned to her. She set up her research station near Stony Point, where she hoped to gather data and, perhaps, catch a glimpse of the elusive siren. Emma spent her days exploring the waters of Betty's Bay, diving among the kelp forests and studying the rich biodiversity of the region. She spoke with local fishermen and residents, gathering stories and accounts of siren sightings. Most were skeptical, dismissing the tales as mere superstition, but a few swore they had seen the siren with their own eyes. One crisp summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma decided to take a swim in the bay. The water was cool and refreshing, and she felt a sense of peace as she floated on her back, gazing up at the stars. Suddenly, she heard a haunting melody carried on the breeze. The song was beautiful and sorrowful, tugging at her heartstrings. Emma followed the sound, her curiosity piqued. As she swam further out into the bay, she saw a figure sitting on a rock, silhouetted against the moonlit sea. Emma's breath caught in her throat. The figure was that of a woman, her long hair cascading down her back, but it was her lower half that held Emma's attention. Instead of legs, the woman had a shimmering tail that glistened in the moonlight. Emma's heart pounded with excitement and fear. She had found the siren. But as she took a step closer, the woman turned to look at her, and Emma felt a chill run down her spine. The siren's eyes were piercing and otherworldly, filled with a mixture of sorrow and anger. Before Emma could react, the siren slipped into the water and disappeared beneath the waves. Determined to uncover the truth behind her encounter, Emma returned to her research station and began to document her findings. She spoke with more locals, delved into old newspapers and journals, and scoured the internet for any mention of the mysterious creature. One name kept cropping up in her research: Captain Edward Sinclair, a sailor who had lived in Betty's Bay many years before. According to the stories, Captain Sinclair had encountered the siren during one of his voyages and had become obsessed with her. Some claimed he had fallen in love with the creature, while others whispered that he had angered her and brought a curse upon himself and his crew. Intrigued, Emma sought out the descendants of Captain Sinclair, hoping to learn more about his encounter with the siren. She eventually found an elderly woman named Margaret Sinclair, who was more than willing to share her family's story. "My great-grandfather was a sailor, just like his father before him," Margaret explained. "He spent his life at sea, and he loved it more than anything. But one night, something happened that changed him forever. He returned from a voyage, claiming to have seen a siren. He said she was the most beautiful creature he had ever laid eyes on, but there was something about her that filled him with dread." Emma listened intently as Margaret recounted the tale. "After that night, my great-grandfather was never the same. He became obsessed with finding the siren again, spending all his time and money on expeditions. He believed that she held the key to some great secret, but no one ever believed him. Eventually, he disappeared, and no one knows what became of him." Determined to uncover the truth behind her encounter, Emma continued to meet with the siren, learning more about her past and the curse that bound her. The siren revealed that the sorcerer who had cursed her had been driven by jealousy and greed. He had coveted her beauty and power and had sought to control her for his own gain. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma heard the haunting melody once again. The song was beautiful yet eerie, tugging at her heartstrings and filling her with a sense of dread. She followed the sound to the beach, where she saw the siren sitting on the same rock as before, her tail glistening in the moonlight. "Why do you seek me?" the siren asked, her voice like a melody carried on the wind. "I'm a marine biologist," Emma explained. "I've heard so many stories about you, and I want to know the truth. Are you real, or are you just a legend?" The siren's expression softened, and she sighed. "I am real, but I am also a legend. I have lived in these waters for centuries, and I have seen many things. The stories you have heard are both true and false, for they are shaped by the minds of those who tell them." Emma listened intently, her curiosity growing. "Why do you sing your song? What is it that you want?" The siren's eyes filled with sorrow. I sing because I am trapped. Long ago, I was cursed by a powerful sorcerer. He bound me to these waters, and I cannot leave. My song is a cry for help, but it also draws those who would do me harm. I am both a siren and a prisoner. As Emma delved deeper into the legend, she uncovered more accounts of encounters with the siren, each with its own unique twist. Some spoke of sailors who had been lured to their deaths by the siren's song, while others claimed that those who saw her were cursed with bad luck and misfortune. One particularly chilling story involved a fisherman named Jacob van der Merwe. According to the tale, Jacob had been out at sea one stormy night when he heard the siren's haunting song. Unable to resist, he followed the sound and saw the siren perched on a rock, her tail glistening in the moonlight. Jacob approached her, but as he drew closer, the siren's expression changed from sorrowful to furious. She let out a blood-curdling scream, and the sea around them began to churn violently. Jacob was thrown from his boat and barely managed to make it back to shore. From that day on, he was plagued by nightmares and strange occurrences, convinced that the siren had cursed him. Emma couldn't help but wonder if there was some truth to the stories. Were the encounters with the siren simply the product of overactive imaginations, or was there something more sinister at play? Determined to find out, she decided to return to the bay where she had first seen the siren and attempt to make contact once more. On a moonlit night, Emma made her way back to the rocky shores of Betty's Bay. The waves lapped gently at her feet, and the cool breeze carried the scent of the sea. She sat on the beach, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the siren. The haunting melody echoed in her mind, drawing her deeper into the mystery. Hours passed, and just as Emma was about to give up, she heard the song once more. The melody was more beautiful and eerie than she remembered, tugging at her heartstrings and filling her with a sense of dread. She followed the sound, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. As she approached the spot where she had first seen the siren, she saw a figure sitting on the same rock, silhouetted against the moonlit sea. The siren turned to look at her, and Emma felt a chill run down her spine. The siren's eyes were filled with a mixture of sorrow and anger, and her tail shimmered in the moonlight. "Why do you seek me again?" the siren asked, her voice like a haunting melody carried on the wind. Emma took a deep breath, her excitement tempered by a sense of reverence. "I want to understand," she replied. "I've heard so many stories about you, and I want to know the truth. Who are you, and why do you haunt this bay?" The siren's expression softened, and she sighed. "I am both a legend and a curse. Long ago, I was cursed by a powerful sorcerer. He bound me to these waters, and I cannot leave. My song is a cry for help, but it also draws those who would do me harm. I am both a siren and a prisoner." Determined to help the siren, Emma continued to meet with her, learning more about her past and the curse that bound her. The siren revealed that the sorcerer who had cursed her had been driven by jealousy and greed. He had coveted her beauty and power and had sought to control her for his own gain. "Is there any way to break the curse?" Emma asked, her heart aching for the siren's plight. The siren nodded. "There is a way, but it is dangerous. The sorcerer's spirit still lingers in these waters, and he guards the key to my freedom. To break the curse, you must confront him and retrieve the key. But be warned, he is powerful and will stop at nothing to keep me bound." Emma knew that the task ahead was daunting, but she couldn't bear the thought of leaving the siren to suffer for eternity. She vowed to do whatever it took to break the curse and set the siren free. With the siren's guidance, Emma set out to find the sorcerer's spirit. She armed herself with knowledge and courage, knowing that the battle ahead would be unlike anything she had ever faced. As she ventured deeper into the waters of Betty's Bay, the atmosphere grew colder and more oppressive. The waves became more turbulent, and the sky darkened, as if reflecting the malevolent presence that awaited her. Finally, Emma reached a dark and foreboding cave, the entrance guarded by jagged rocks and swirling currents. She steeled herself and entered, her flashlight cutting through the inky darkness. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and Emma could feel the sorcerer's presence all around her. "Who dares to enter my domain?" a voice echoed through the cave, sending shivers down Emma's spine. The voice was deep and menacing, filled with an ancient power that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. With every ounce of courage she could muster, Emma stepped forward. I am Emma, and I seek the spirit of the sorcerer who cursed the siren of Betty's Bay. A chilling laugh reverberated through the cavern, and a dark figure materialized before her. The sorcerer was tall and imposing, his eyes glowing with a malevolent light. His form was shrouded in darkness, making it difficult for Emma to discern his features. You are brave to confront me, the sorcerer said, his voice dripping with contempt. But bravery alone will not save you. Why do you seek to free the siren? Emma took a deep breath, her excitement tempered by a sense of reverence. She is trapped by your curse, she replied, standing her ground. She has suffered for centuries because of your cruelty. It's time to end this. The sorcerer's eyes narrowed, and he moved closer, his presence suffocating. You speak of cruelty, yet you know nothing of the pain I have endured. The siren betrayed me, and for that, she must suffer. Emma's heart pounded as she realized the depth of the sorcerer's hatred. She did not betray you, she said, her voice filled with empathy. She was a victim of circumstance, just as you are. There is still a chance for redemption, for both of you. The sorcerer paused, his expression wavering. For a moment, Emma thought she saw a flicker of sadness in his eyes, but it was quickly replaced by anger. Redemption is a foolish notion, he spat. You cannot undo what has been done. Summoning all her courage, Emma reached into her bag and pulled out a small vial of holy water. If you will not release her willingly, then I will use this to banish you, she declared, her voice unwavering. The sorcerer's eyes blazed with fury, and the ground beneath them shook violently. You dare to challenge me? He roared. You will regret this. Emma uncorked the vial and flung the holy water at the sorcerer. The liquid sizzled and hissed as it made contact with his form, and he let out a deafening scream. The cavern filled with a blinding light, and Emma shielded her eyes from the brilliance. When the light faded, the sorcerer was gone. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the cave was silent once more. Emma let out a sigh of relief, her heart still pounding from the confrontation. With the sorcerer's spirit banished, Emma knew that the siren's curse was finally broken. She made her way back to the shores of Betty's Bay, her steps light with the knowledge that she had succeeded in her mission. As she reached the beach, the first rays of dawn began to break over the horizon. The sea was calm and serene, and the air was filled with a sense of peace. Emma stood at the water's edge, her eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the siren. Moments later, the water parted, and the siren emerged, her tail glistening in the early morning light. Her expression was one of pure joy and gratitude as she swam toward Emma. You did it, the siren said, her voice filled with emotion. You broke the curse. I am free. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with pride and relief. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had to help you. The siren's eyes sparkled with gratitude. I cannot thank you enough for what you have done. You have given me my freedom and restored my hope. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the siren turned to face the open sea. I can finally return to my home, she said, her voice filled with wonder. I will never forget you, Emma. With a final smile, the siren dove beneath the waves and disappeared into the depths of the ocean. Emma watched her go, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. With the siren's curse broken and the mystery of Betty's Bay unveiled, Emma returned to her research with renewed vigor. She documented every detail of her incredible journey, compiling her findings into a comprehensive report. She knew that sharing this story with the world could shed light on the unexplored depths of the ocean and the legends that reside there. Emma's report gained widespread attention, capturing the imaginations of both the scientific community and the general public. Her detailed accounts of the siren, the sorcerer, and the history of Betty's Bay inspired a new wave of interest in marine biology and folklore. Emma was invited to speak at conferences, universities, and even on television, where she shared her incredible adventure and the lessons she had learned. Years passed, and Emma continued her work as a marine biologist, dedicating her career to exploring the mysteries of the ocean. She traveled to remote corners of the world, uncovering new species and documenting the rich biodiversity of the seas. However, the story of the wicked siren of Betty's Bay remained her most cherished and significant achievement. Emma's legacy lived on through her research, inspiring future generations of marine biologists to pursue their passion for the ocean. Her story became a beloved legend, passed down through the years and captivating the hearts of all who heard it. In her later years, Emma returned to Betty's Bay, where it all began. As she stood on the shores of the bay, watching the waves crash against the rocks, she felt a deep sense of peace. The legend of the siren would live on, a testament to the power of hope, courage, and the enduring human spirit. And so, the story of the wicked siren of Betty's Bay continued to captivate and inspire, reminding all who heard it that even the most elusive legends can hold a kernel of truth. If you were captivated by the dark and sinister tale of the wicked siren of Betty's Bay and want more thrilling stories and engaging content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories that ignite your imagination and keep you on the edge of your seat. Thank you for being part of our storytelling community.